Welcome back, car people. Have you missed me? It feels like the longest month ever, but it's time for my September forecourt roundup. I'm sorry I haven't brought you any content in this last month, but it's been very, very quiet. I had one of the channel viewers actually reach out and say, have you been cyber attacked? Fortunately not, although that is a big problem these days. Look what has happened to JLR. I read yesterday that the government are bailing them out with $1.5 billion loan, so hopefully they'll be back up on their feet very soon. So news to bring you of September. Started the month well with the sale of a Porsche Macan. That went to a royal connection. Very pleased with that one. And then it was as if the taps just turned off. If it wasn't for spam diesel emissions call, I don't think my phone would have rung. It was incredibly quiet. If I'd known, I could have gone on holiday, but you have to be here, don't you? And email inquiries were coming in, but people asking questions like, is that car still available? Can you send me a video? All cars have got at least 30 photos and a walk around video on them. In fact, let me tell you about a story I had at 5 to 10 on a Sunday night when I had a text message from someone asking me to send them a video of the engine running on the Porsche Macan that I just sold. It's a 24 plate car, 3,000 miles. What is it that you want to hear from a video of a 24 plate Macan running? But the conversation continued, and then we got into some dialogue the next day when I got the lady on the phone, and turns out that she was going on holiday the following day, so it didn't go anywhere, and in fact I then ended up selling the car. Tyre kickers have abounded. I had a gentleman interested in the Ferrari California. He made an appointment to view the car 2 weeks in advance, so the car would have sold to someone else that had come along, but I didn't have any more serious inquiries. And 2 days before he was due to come, I got the car already, fueled it, made sure all the tyre pressures were good, gave it a nice clean, and then I got a text message from him telling me that he wasn't coming. Oh, okay, c'est la vie, we move on. On the morning that he would have been due to come, I had a phone call from a guy, said, we're just up the road from you, can we come and have a look at the California? I thought, come on, get in, this will be nice. Car turns up on the driveway, young lad and a girl get out of the car. I'm thinking, interesting, they don't look like they've got the money to buy a Ferrari California. Then the car pulls up out in the road, and two people, the parents of these two kids, walk up the drive, and they're looking at California. They've got it out, they've got the roof down, they've got the roof up, they've started it, stopped it, started it, stopped it, roof up and down again. Can we go for a drive up and down the road? We're doing all these things, and I'm thinking, are these people really going to buy this? The chap's telling me, yeah, we've just been to look at another one, but this one is better, really would like it. And I understand you've got an Aston Martin as well. I do, yeah. Can we go and have a look at that? Sure, okay, so it starts raining at this time. Pull the Aston Martin out of the garage. Can't take the roof down because of the rain, but he's looking around it. And then says to me, we can't buy the cars yet. We haven't got a driveway to put them on. What's that all about? So I just left in despair, waved them goodbye. These are the things that we have to go through. So selling cars isn't easy, but I'm not playing the violin. It's just telling you the stories of what goes on in the motor trade. But we do have someone coming to see the California on Wednesday. He has a very interesting part exchange of a classic Ford Mustang. I'm rather interested in that. I have a deposit now on the DBS from a gentleman who phoned up to buy the car. He called, he made an appointment, he came, he liked it. He's just sending someone to check it over for him, as it's a big purchase naturally, so I'm happy with that. Another sale that we made this month was the Porsche Cayenne. There was so much profit in that a Porsche dealer even bought that, and that's gone off somewhere up north. And talking of Porsches, it's been a bit of a Porsche month because I now have a Porsche Cayman in stock. Nice car mechanically with a good history, but it does have a few blemishes on the wings from a slight bit of corrosion. I have pictured them and put them on the advert. It's 2 or 3 weeks before I can get it in to the workshop and have the car painted, which I fully intend to do, unless someone wants to buy it as it is and perhaps use it as a cheap car or a track day car, something like the Aston Martin Vantage that I sold a couple of months ago. Another car that's just come into stock is this beautiful Range Rover V8 supercharged autobiography that is going to go online very soon. Just some small jobs to do to that, and I think that will sell very quickly. And with so few sales, I'm surprised that I forgot to mention the RSQ3. That was a really lovely car, standout colour, had so many inquiries on it, but couldn't get the deal done for one reason or another. Finance didn't go through, part exchange didn't go through. One guy in Preston really wanted it, texted me for 3 days, and then his wife wouldn't allow him to buy it. It was just really crazy. And then young lad from Wales called me. This is what happens when you want to sell a car, you call up. He phoned, he made an appointment to view, came, and he bought it. Very impressive young guy as well, only 22, running his own business, got a protein business, got a couple of little outlets selling protein shakes and food bowls outside gyms, and a protein water company. So he's a young man that's going to do very well in the future, I have no doubt. But it's been a very odd month in terms of the things that I've been offered. Strange part exchanges: a chameleon wrapped BMW i8, a left-hand drive Ferrari, an RS 500 Sierra Cosworth, lovely car but very expensive. I do have a very unusual pair of American cars being offered to me at the moment. One of them is appealing. We'll see what goes on with that. And also the things that people are offering a means of payment. They're offering to pay in cash, lots of it, which obviously we can't take. They're offering to pay with gold. And one guy even offered to want to pay with cryptocurrency, in this case, Ethereum. Now, I would take that. I'm a dealer, and I've partnered up with a company called Crypto Cars who would facilitate that deal. But he wanted to send me the money, or the Ethereum, directly into my wallet to avoid any capital gains tax. And that just wasn't happening. He didn't want to go through the correct channels, so sadly couldn't do a deal with him. But if you are interested in buying a car using cryptocurrency, I now have the facility to accept that through Crypto Cars. Should we just talk about the market in general? September is a month when the new number plates come out. The 75 plate comes out in September. Traditionally, it used to come out in August, and car dealers would have a fallow period of about 6 weeks or 2 months where no one would buy a car leading up to August because they wanted that shiny new car to bear the latest number plate to impress all their neighbours. So the motoring industry, in their wisdom, decided to change the new number plates to twice a year. So that now happens in March and September. Have you seen any 75 plate cars on the road? I haven't seen that many this year, but I was speaking to a Mini dealer who I've just purchased a Mini that's come into them in part exchange from, and he was telling me that they really did have a very busy month. So be interested to know what's going on with the industry and new cars. I did mention in last month's video that I had Aston Martin Virage offered to me. I've kind of set myself up as being a bit of an Aston Martin specialist, and if you think about this time last year, we were away down in Plumpton on the August bank holiday buying an Aston Martin DB9 Volante down there. I was then a couple of days later off to Bristol buying a DB9 Coupe from a gentleman there. Then we were on the plane and boat to Ireland collecting an Aston Martin from there. We had a Lamborghini come into stock, went out in 2 days. Another one followed it. That went out very quickly, and another one followed that in part exchange. It was an incredible month. So by comparison, this year has been, or this month at least, has been an awful lot quieter. But it did just pick up towards the end of the month, and I think there's a bit more light on the horizon, but I do see car dealers closing. I watch a lot of the YouTube channels, and the guy at Shifting Metal, Joe Betty, has shut his garage. Robert Cubic Cars, he's a big commentator of these things, and I watch a lot of his videos, and it's interesting to see what's going on. I think tough times, but I do know people doing very well with it, and the way I set myself up here, I could survive for several months without being affected, very luckily. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in October. To that extent, I do need cars, and if anyone does have a nice car, remember, anything, it can be a Fiat to a Ferrari or anything in between. Don't mind a little bit of cosmetic prep, as long as the car has been maintained nicely. It needs to have a good history. I'd like to see that it has proper tyres on it, for example. That's always a good marker for how well a car has been cared for, and I can always address a few cosmetics. And talking of YouTube, it's funny what the algorithm throws up. I obviously watch a lot of car dealer channels, and in my coming next the other day, there was a BBC Archives documentary from 1993 about a chap called Mark and his girlfriend Mandy. Mark was a car dealer in Essex and Mandy was a hairdresser, and they followed them round for a week or so, and interesting to see the struggles that they were having at the time, and it brought it back to me now that all these things go round in circles. So I think actually we're in a good place. There's an awful lot of money around, even though there are a few people on the breadline. Actually, I think some people have too much money, and when it comes to cars, there's too much choice. For example, this Aston Martin DBS, the questions that I've received about that regarding it being categorized, and if I wouldn't be selling it if it wasn't a lovely car, and now finally someone has woken up and realized the value of that. And I think there are a lot of cars out there that aren't looked after at all. The Aston Martin Virage, in fact, that I was offered last month, the gentleman came to see this and he was wanting to part exchange his Virage. He ended up not buying this and going to buy a McLaren, but asked me if I would still buy the Virage. And I made him an offer for the car, subject to some certain things. I would need to see it and see the history, etc. And then I went to see it, and his service book was very light on stamps. The last couple of stamps had not been done even at a specialist. I wanted to drive the car and took it over to be checked out, because it's very important on the V12s now that you have them plugged in and checked. And sure enough, there were misfires in the engine. It needed coil packs and plugs. That's a £3,000 bill. Then it needed a major service. The brake calipers were weeping fluid, and the little caliper nuts looked like they were seized, and that was going to be an expensive job. There was damage on the front spoiler, a big golf ball sized dent in the grille on the front spoiler. There was corrosion around the car. There was leather peeling on the dashboard binnacle. The waterfall had got splits in it. All in all, £13,000 worth of work, remedial work, was required to bring this car up to a retail standard. And when I told him, he was very offended. He might even be watching this video, and I'm sorry about that, but I don't just throw a sponge at them and mark them up £5,000 and take a profit. I do the job properly. So sadly, the Virage that I mentioned will not be coming. But it's amazing the type of cars that are out there, and people that are trying to sell some very, very poor examples. Because I've been scratching around for stock, I've been looking on the usual platforms, Motorway and CarWow, and seeing these cars that people don't even wash before they photograph them. They're full of dirt inside. They're photographed with the sun at awful angles, so that you can't really see the state of the bodywork. They've got missing history, they've got partial history, they've got damage, all wheels are curbs, they've got cheap tyres. People are buying these cars somewhere, and I don't understand it. All my cars I try and make absolutely perfect. So I don't know, have I come across it a bit whingy? Sorry if that was just a little bit from the heart, shall we say. It's a little bit frustrating. But anyway, that's the roundup for this month, and hopefully we're on to bigger and better things. So please offer me your nice cars, and Give me some support in the channel by liking and subscribing if indeed you do, and we'll be on to some more content for you next month as stock rolls in. Thank you for watching. See you soon.